Merry meet and fare thee well. Settle in for a story with me, Astin Gaël. Welcome in. Thank you for joining me today. This is a daily collective message for Monday, February 16th. If you would like a personalized short story, the shop is now open. You can find the link to purchase that in the description box down below. If you are not following the Magic Shop on Blue Sky, you can also find the link to follow that page in the description box down below. There are additional posts such as the daily astrology available over there that I do not put on the YouTube. As mentioned in the last several stories, we are reading an excerpt a day from this book until there are no more excerpts left. This is What There Is to Love About a Man by Rachel Snyder. Because I am a trans man, and because I do get very tired of the anti-man rhetoric, I do find it important to focus on healthy aspects of masculinity on all of my social media platforms. So that's the motivation behind using this book to spark the ideas for the themes of each story. But if you've watched any of the last several stories, I do kind of go off the rails and popcorn style my way through. And sometimes it doesn't end up matching the theme at all. So, spontaneity. Let's go canoeing on the lake now. How about running to the bagel store? Get up, let's go. Want to elope and drive to Vegas? Come on. Put down that book. It's time to go bowling. Put on your shoes. I'm taking us dancing. TV is boring. Let's retile the bathroom. Interest rates are dropping. Let's go buy a house. Let's bolt up to Sundance and see a few movies. Let's get the 520 and sleep on the train. See you next spring. I'm moving to Maui. I'm sick of my navel. Why not get a piercing? Got a few minutes? Let's all shave our heads. Hungry for brioche? Let's go grab the Concorde. Enough with the yard work. It's time to make love. I'm tired of waiting, of planning, of knowing. I'm seizing the day. Are you ready? Let's go. I can't help but think of Hermes, the messenger god of the Greek mythology. As a pagan, I have worked with Hermes for quite some time. If you are a poet or an author of any kind, it's hard not to work with the messenger god. I mean, they bring messages, and they are the only god in Greek mythology that has the clearance to travel between all three realms. They can be on Olympus, they can be on Earth, and they can go to Hades. Now, other gods travel to Hades and still are able to go back to Olympus. It's part of their heroic quests. But Hermes has had that ability since birth. So, yeah, very spontaneous, right? And I would assume that if you are capable of traveling through all three realms, you would kind of be a bit fast moving. I venture to say that that kind of goes along with being an author or a creative type, which often ends up working with the energy of Hermes. You spend so often, in this work mode, sitting down, banging out words, meeting these deadlines if you're doing trad publishing. And all of a sudden, you just think, sorry, I was talking about being an author and working on your work in progress, and then thinking about Chinese food and needing to get up and go get Chinese food. And my phone sent through an Amber Alert or some sort of emergency alert. So it just decided to cancel my recording. So we are talking about spontaneity. That is the theme of the message. Seems like we should get out the deck of chaos because spontaneity. All right, the 8 of Wands with the King of Swords. King of Swords definitely gives Hermes energy to me. I would definitely say that Hermes is an air sign. Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, but I don't know. Going back to yesterday's mustache theme, look at the mustache on that person. And the eyebrows too. Okay, so we have a Libra, Gemini, Aquarius as the main character, and they are preparing for something. Maybe preparing for spontaneity, which is the opposite of spontaneity. And maybe that's the gag, is that they don't really quite understand spontaneity. I would venture to say that fire signs are more likely to be spontaneous. They are preparing for something. What are they preparing for? A reunion. A reunion of love. 6 of Cups. They want to reignite some sort of social connection. There's flowers on this card, and I'm almost kind of wondering, like, what happens to those flowers that don't get sold for Valentine's Day? Are they just like the candy that doesn't get sold? Like, does it go on discount? Does it go on clearance? And how shitty is it if somebody shows up, the day after Valentine's Day, or 2 or 3 days after Valentine's Day, and they've got a bouquet? Like, is it shitty to know that you got the discount bouquet? Probably not, because it doesn't matter how much somebody spends on you. It doesn't really determine whether or not they actually love you. But to know that they could have showed up spontaneously, and they didn't. They planned to come by later. But they're hoping that this awakes some sort of nostalgia. Okay, moving on to the cheeky little oracle deck from the Ritzy Rose. Tell me more. More about this King of Swords. All right. The Drama Queen in the reverse, which in the Rider-Waite deck is the Magician. In yesterday's reading, I had to ask you, what do you truly desire? And I mentioned that it made me think of Lucifer, the show on Netflix. And, he calls that his mojo. It seems like this person has lost their mojo. And I remember there's an episode in Lucifer where right after he has sex with Detective Decker, Chloe, for the first time, he loses his mojo. He can't ask people what they truly desire anymore. but she can ask him, and he's never been subject to his own mojo. This King of Swords feels like you, collective, or somebody that they would like to spontaneously show up. They think that this person has the upper hand, um, and so they're not necessarily planning their spontaneity. They think that it won't come across as spontaneous because the person, the plan of attack, the victim knows. You collective, or whoever is the person answering the door in this story, um you know they're coming, and they're coming fast, like the coffee here at the bottom of the deck. They're coming in fast. They've been probably monitoring on social media, and even if it is from fake accounts, it's like, like, the name of the account is not their name, but it's some sort of meaningful name between the two of you. And it's like, how did you think that you were going to get away with that? I know that that's what you called yourself when we were 15 or whatever. um and that's the nostalgia. This person, or you did know this person, and I think that's what's interesting, is that they think you have the upper hand now because you've figured something out, figured life out, figured yourself out, figured them out. You figured something out, and now they don't have that element of shock and awe that they used to have. You probably have had some debauchery type act, memories with this person. This could be somebody from a time in your life where you did a lot of, there was a lot of partying going down. That's probably the reason Lord Lucifer is coming through so heavily. Maybe you don't necessarily do those things as much anymore, or maybe you have a different approach to them now. The arriving with the flowers, it could just be symbolic of some sort of a gift. Maybe they know that you wouldn't necessarily be accepting of a bouquet of flowers, but in the past you would have been accepting of a bottle of whiskey. um, and they're wondering if you're still open to such gifts. um, it's odd because they feel like who they are, because they have not really changed, but they have no idea who you are now. You have changed past a point that they recognize. Yeah, and nostalgia coming through again here. Literally, the name of the song is nostalgic. Sometimes I still remember what you said and how we fell. Okay, fine. Maybe I'm just a little nostalgic, because the memories are flooding my mind. Baby, I can't stop it. So this person has you on their mind, but they're wondering if you have them on your mind. And what about them is on your mind? Are you remembering the past? Are you thinking about who they are right now? Are you picturing them in your future? Referencing yesterday's theme, which definitely went a little off the rails and wonky. We started out with mustaches, but what it turned out to be is people who project fantasies onto you. There's a lot of future faking with projecting fantasies onto a person. And so this person wants to know, like, are you picturing the future, and does it have me in it? And if we're going with the suggestion of how to put those boundaries in place that we talked about yesterday, you shouldn't be picturing much about the future at all. You need to be remaining in the present. And if you are picturing the future, you shouldn't be putting other people in that image. You can picture what you look like in the future, what you achieve in the future, but placing other people in your narrative of the future is essentially trapping them in a story that they haven't necessarily agreed to. This person wants to be a part of that story, though. They're like, please trap me in it, you know? Back to the same messages from yesterday. Literally. All of the same songs from yesterday just came out, except for this one. So we'll take this one and end it here. Partners in crime. Again, Lord Lucifer. Here we find our omnipotent outlaws. Omnipotent meaning all seeing, all knowing, all hearing, all being. Fall behind the grind tonight, left unaware that the Lone Store owner won't go down without a fight. Where are we gonna go? He's got us pinned. Baby, I'm a little scared. Now don't you quit. This King of Swords enjoys risk. I'm seeing stock market, possibly gambling. I had a friend in college that kind of fits this description. The way that we would connect, especially when we were feeling pain, and we felt pain a lot. They were in a really unhappy marriage, and I was pushing myself to get a college degree that I don't think I actually really wanted. And my dad had died within the last 5 years. I don't remember exactly how long it had been at the time that I knew this person, but the way that we healed our hurts was we would go eat copious amounts of Mexican food, drink margaritas while we were eating the Mexican food, and then go to the casino. And I did not necessarily really like gambling, but I liked being with them. And I liked that it didn't feel like we were spending that much money. We would put in a $20 bill to one of the like penny slot machines, and we would play until that 20 ran out. And inevitably, you win some of that back, or at least all of that 20 back. And so then you just keep playing on this 120 all night long. Now, she would manage to come home with at least 5 times more than what we went in with. She would come home with hundreds and sometimes thousands in her pocket. And I never understood how she did it. She said she had a method that you can't stay at one machine for too long. You gotta recognize the pattern and get up and move. And you have to move strategically because they have those machines marked, like this one's gonna win tonight, this one's gonna lose all night. And I thought maybe she had some sort of like, third sense, sixth sense, of what made the, I thought she knew which machine was gonna win. She did not. She had no idea, but she knew that you had to get up and move. She knew that you had to Be willing to walk away even if you were on and up. This particular King of Swords is hoping that you are so bored that that their game of chance, their risk, their excitement lures you out. I'm hearing, can so and so come out to play? And I don't know about you, but when that happened to me as a kid, there was oftentimes that I wish I could tell my mom to, like, just tell them I'm not here. Tell them I died. Um, yeah, they want you to come out and play. They want you to be down for the risk again. Um, Tying it into yesterday's message, knowing what brings you joy and having your own hobbies is what keeps you safe from this type of behavior, this luring. Um, and look, you have free will. So if you want to be lured out of the house to go and um, party again, by all means, do so. Who am I to say that that's not appropriate? I've had my time in the sun and I enjoyed it. It's an enjoyable time. But if this person can see that you are progressing and that is the reason they're coming around asking if you can come out to play, that's a fucking red flag. They are trying to knock you off your square, so to speak. So, until next time, be well, be you.